The Pacific Ocean off the coast of British Columbia is a truly wild place where nature still rules. A place that changes daily with the tides as immeasurable volumes of water bring food and nutrients up and down the coast. The daily changes pale in comparison, though, to the seasonal movements of fish and wildlife. As the storms of winter and spring give way to summer, a calm comes to the coast. Summer on Vancouver Island is generally a quiet time between the excitement of the spring herring spawn and the return of the salmon. The island is known for its laid-back lifestyle, and these sea otters take it to a new level as they lazily float in rafts feeding on crabs and urchins. In recent years, the call of humpback whales has returned to island waters, with a record number of sightings in 2022. Feeding on tiny plankton, krill, and small schooling fish, they will surge to the surface, mouths agape, in a spectacular method called lunge feeding. Through the huge gulp of water, they filter the food through their large baleen plates. They are the only baleen whales known to feed cooperatively, where whales will encircle schools of prey in a ring of bubbles, called bubble net feeding. These impressive animals can be identified by researchers from the markings on the underside of their tail flukes. Harbor seals will lounge about on small islands to avoid being disturbed by passerby. This is one of the more impressive bears I've seen on the island. He was easily identified by his long legs and overall stature. As the rivers remain low throughout the summer, many runs have changed dramatically from their historical timings. When I moved to the island, rivers like the Cowichan had a summer run of Chinook salmon that have all but disappeared due to a changing climate. This glaucoswing gull has found an unfortunate starfish for its dinner tonight. California sea lions, fat after the herring spawn, lazily float in the warm summer waters as they await the returning salmon. The river estuaries are magical places on the North Island, with moss covering the ancient trees. Suddenly, there is the sound of exhalation in the distance as the schools of salmon return to Johnstone Strait. They are closely followed by the largest predators, the orcas. These apex predators are the top of the food chain on the coast, with the resident orcas searching out the Chinook salmon and the transient Biggs pods, hunting other marine mammals such as seals and sea lions. The residents are made up of two genetically distinct populations, the northern resident and southern residents. While their ranges overlap, they are rarely observed together, with the southern residents occupying the Strait of Georgia during the summer months and the northern residents being found in the Johnstone Strait off the North Island. The northern resident population is much larger, made up of 34 matrolines and more than 200 individuals. With a greater abundance of Chinook salmon off the North Island, they are a much healthier population, with the southern pods being under much more stress in recent years. Orcas live in tightly bound family units called pods and stay with their mothers and siblings for their entire lives. Generations stay together in matrolines organized around the older females. This pod has picked up an interesting straggler, a Pacific white-sided dolphin. One must ask the question, how did it know they weren't transients, a mistake you would only make once? As the last days of summer get shorter on the BC coast, one of the greatest natural events starts to unfold: the return of the Pacific salmon to their native streams. As the salmon near the river mouths, the ones that have survived 3 to 5 years at sea will face their greatest test as they run the gauntlet of predators that are waiting for them. Sea lions are the largest of these, with both Stellars and Californias present in our waters. California are typically darker in color, with the males having a large bump on the top of their heads and can be up to 8 feet long and weigh nearly 900 pounds, while the Stellars are lighter brown in color and can be up to 10.5 feet in length, weighing an enormous 2,400 pounds. Sea lions lack the ability to grasp their food, so will violently shake the salmon into smaller bites, providing these waiting gulls with a meal as well. This river otter family excitedly plays as it can sense the arrival of the salmon. Unlike the larger sea otters, river otters will actively seek out and feed on salmon both in the ocean and further up the rivers and streams. This small Chinook salmon wandered too close to shore as it migrated home. Harbor seals will actively move to the river mouths looking for the salmon schools. They are the most widely distributed of the pinnipeds and can be found up and down the BC coast. On land, the black bears are still patiently waiting for the rains. They can see and smell the salmon schools as they push right up to the mouth of the river, but until the rains bring them into the shallow streams, they are still out of reach, and munching on the grasses will have to do. It's amazing spending time with these bears how human-like many of their behaviors can be. This great blue heron won't directly feed on the adult salmon, but will feed on the fry and smolts and other fish attracted to the area. These young black bears stick close to the safety of the forest as mom has gone to check the river mouth. This girl is one of the smaller bears at the river, but she takes up a prominent seat keeping watch on the approaching schools. Then suddenly the rains begin. She's been tricked by short summer showers before, so doesn't want to get too excited. But as it turns into a downpour, it begins. first of the pink salmon are finally able to enter the stream. As the river flow increases, combined with the rising tide, the bears move in. Finally, after months of foraging the seashore and forests, fresh salmon is on the menu. With fish moving everywhere, the bears don't know which way to turn. As this dominant female strolls down to the river edge, some of the other bears know to make room. With her two young cubs still by the forest edge, she catches her first salmon of the season, which she makes short work of. With some soft grunts, she calls her cubs to join her as they get their first taste of salmon, and boy was it good. They quickly ran back to the safety of the forest as the biggest bear of this river system strolls down to the water's edge. Considering the salmon run has just begun, he is already a huge bear. He takes up the prime fishing location as all the smaller bears retreat, albeit with a little protesting. It's interesting how the smaller bear is all bluster as it chomps at the bit while the big boy barely gives it a look. Judging by the scars covering his face, he has earned his spot at the top. We did not notice his snarl at the time, so you can imagine my surprise at his sheer look of disgust at the smell of us humans. As the sun briefly shined, his blood-soaked fur glistened from his last meal. As the season progresses into fall, the chum and coho salmon are the last species to enter the river to spawn. Known as the dog salmon, these chum are the second largest Pacific salmon and very important for the bears to get their last meals in before the winter arrives. After a couple of months feeding on salmon, this bear has put on enough weight to make it through the long winter. Now all fattened up, there's nothing left to do but find a nice place for a long nap. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this journey through the season of the salmon, and please like and subscribe to see more videos like this. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did making it. We'll be doing a draw for your choice of my Pacific Coast poster or the Coastal Rainforest poster. The winners will be drawn on July 1st, 2023. To enter, all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment on what your favorite species was in this video. For every 100 new subscribers, I'll be drawing one winner. Good luck and thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Take care.